The spark in the storm. A maid knocked on the door of room 3327. No answer. She opened it anyway. Inside stood silence, thick and unmoving. An old man lay on the bed, fully dressed, alone. No family, no friends, no fortune. Only a stack of unpaid bills and crumbs of crackers beside a glass of warm milk. Outside the window, pigeons waited for him. The year was 1943. The place was the New Yorker Hotel. The man had once given power to the modern world. Why did the mind that electrified civilization end in darkness? To understand the end, you must begin with a storm. July 10, 1856. Smiljan. Lightning split the sky again and again as a child struggled into the world. The midwife whispered in fear that the storm marked a child of darkness. His mother answered without hesitation. No, a child of light. Her son was named Nikola Tesla. When he was 5, the world broke for the first time. His older brother fell from a horse. The injuries took his life. Nikola watched the lost tear through his family. The image never left him. Years later, he still saw it in flashes, sharp and uncontrollable. Soon the vision spread beyond memory. Blinding bursts of light filled his mind. Images appeared in front of his eyes with impossible clarity. Machines rotated in empty space. Wheels spun. Sparks jumped between metal rods. He reached for objects that did not exist. He could not tell where reality ended and imagination began. Yet the visions held detail. Every screw, every wire, every motion. Instead of drawing his ideas like other inventors, he built them inside his mind. He tested them there, adjusted them there, perfected them there. Years later, he wrote that his machines worked exactly as he imagined them. Not once did they fail when built. The source of this gift lived in his home. His mother, Duca Mandic, created tools and household devices during spare moments. She never attended school, yet solved problems with instinct and precision. She remembered images with total clarity and passed the same ability to her son. His father saw a different future. A priest must raise a priest. The boy would serve the church. Nikola refused, quietly at first, then firmly. Fate intervened. As a teenager, he fell ill with cholera. The sickness tightened around him. For months, he hovered near death. Fever burned. His body weakened. His father watched hope fade and finally made a promise. Live, and you'll study engineering. Nikola survived. In Austria, at the Technical College of Graz, he attacked learning with obsession. He worked from 3 in the morning until 11 at night. Professors feared exhaustion would kill him before disease ever could. Numbers lived inside his head. He solved calculus without paper. Words came easily in many tongues. 8 languages followed him wherever he went. For a time, the future seemed clear. Then weakness returned in a different form. Gambling. Cards replaced textbooks. Nights replaced days. Debt replaced discipline. Shame grew heavier than poverty. He disappeared from school and from his family. Friends believed he drowned in a river. He did not drown. He wandered. Across Europe, he drifted from job to job until he reached Budapest, working as an electrician at a telephone company. His life felt broken and directionless. Then one afternoon, while walking through a park, the universe aligned. The sun lowered toward the horizon. Shadows stretched across the path. In that moment, a rotating magnetic field appeared fully formed in his mind. Not a guess, not a theory, a complete system. Electricity flowing in alternating directions. He saw motors spinning smoothly without sparks or friction. Power traveling across great distances without fading. Cities glowing at night. He froze in place. The world around him continued, but he no longer stood inside it. He stood inside the future. This idea would soon challenge the most powerful inventor in America. In 1882, he moved to Paris and joined the European branch of an electric company founded by a famous inventor. He repaired lighting systems, then designed machines others could not fix. His skill spread his reputation across the continent. 2 years later, an offer arrived. New York City, 1884. He boarded a ship with little money. During the voyage, thieves took what remained. When he stepped onto American soil, he carried foresight and a letter of recommendation. The letter led him to a meeting with Thomas Edison. At first, respect passed between them. Edison admired relentless effort. Tesla admired accomplishment. Both believed they understood electricity. They did not understand each other. Edison trusted direct current, electricity flowing in one direction through short distances, safe for his business empire. Tesla saw a larger system, alternating current, electricity reversing direction rapidly, traveling far, feeding entire cities without collapse. Science clashed with ownership. According to Tesla, a manager promised $50,000 if he improved certain machines. He solved the problem. Payment never came. The response sounded like a joke. He did not laugh. He walked out. In 1885, he formed his own company, hoping independence would bring freedom. Instead, it brought betrayal. Investors showed no interest in his vision. They took the company and the patents assigned to it. His shares turned worthless overnight. The man who would light the world dug ditches for $2 a day to eat. Yet the vision from the park never left him. The rotating magnetic field still spun inside his mind, waiting for the moment to return. War of the currents. The ditch was deep and the soil heavy. Each strike of the shovel sent pain through his hands. Workers around him spoke loudly, laughed loudly, lived loudly. Nikola Tesla stayed silent. In his mind, machines still turned. He repeated calculations while lifting mud from the ground. He measured currents in his head while sweat ran down his face. The world saw a laborer. He still saw power moving across continents. Then the chance came. In 1887, he built the machine he had carried inside his thoughts for years, an induction motor powered by alternating current. No sparks, no brushes, smooth rotation. Efficient conversion of electricity into motion, a working proof of his vision. The following year, he presented the motor before engineers in New York. Many watched politely. One man understood the danger and the opportunity, George Westinghouse. Westinghouse had already invested in alternating current systems. He knew direct current could not spread electricity across large regions without massive cost. Tesla's motor completed the missing piece. He offered a deal, $60,000 in cash, stock, and royalties for every horsepower generated by the motor. A consulting salary of $2,000 a month followed. Wealth stood within reach for the first time in Tesla's life. But money was not the true prize. A system to power the world had begun. Across the city, another man saw a threat instead of progress. Thomas Edison. Edison had built his empire on direct current. Power stations every mile. Copper wires everywhere. Patents protecting profit. If alternating current spread, the structure would collapse. The conflict became public. Direct current versus alternating current. Ownership versus physics. Edison chose fear as a weapon. He funded demonstrations meant to prove alternating current was deadly. Animals were electrocuted before crowds. Newspapers printed warnings. Panic spread through cities. The most shocking display came later when a circus elephant named Topsy was killed with alternating current and filmed for the public. Electricity turned into spectacle. Tesla watched the campaign grow louder. He refused to answer with insults. He answered with light. In 1893, a massive fair opened in Chicago to celebrate 400 years since Columbus reached America. Millions would attend. Whoever powered the event would decide the future of electricity. Westinghouse and Tesla offered alternating current. Edison's new company offered direct current. Alternating current won the contract. When the switch was thrown, night became day. Over 100,000 lamps lit the grounds at once. Visitors froze in place, staring upward. 27 million people witnessed steady light, without smoke, without flicker, without fear. The war shifted. Soon another challenge appeared, larger than any before. A hydroelectric plant at Niagara Falls meant to send power to Buffalo, miles away. Direct current could not travel that distance efficiently. Alternating current could. Westinghouse and Tesla won again. Water turned turbines. Turbines turned generators. Generators sent energy across distance. Cities glowed because a river moved. The war of the currents ended quietly after that. Direct current faded from large-scale power distribution. Alternating current became the standard. Victory stood within Tesla's reach. Then came a conversation that changed his life forever. Westinghouse entered with worry he could not hide. The company faced crushing financial pressure. Investors demanded guarantees. Bankers feared the royalty payments attached to Tesla's contract. Without relief, the entire system might collapse. Tesla listened. The royalties promised enormous wealth. Over time, they would make him the richest person alive. A fortune beyond imagination waited inside a single document. He asked one question: would ending the royalties save the company? Yes. He took the contract and tore it apart. No negotiation, no hesitation. In that moment, he abandoned a future worth hundreds of millions so the system could survive. Westinghouse later paid him $216,000 for permanent use of the patents. A large sum, yet nothing compared to what he surrendered. Compassion replaced profit. The company survived. The electrical age advanced. Tesla walked away from the greatest personal fortune in modern history. With the payment, he opened laboratories across New York. Visitors arrived daily, drawn by curiosity about the quiet inventor whose machines powered cities. Among them came a close friend, Mark Twain. Twain loved the laboratory. Sparks leapt across coils while he laughed like a child. Photographs captured him standing beside machines that hummed with invisible force. This period produced invention after invention. He developed early neon lighting that filled glass tubes with color. He built a bladeless turbine for engines. He experimented with radiation and produced images of bones inside the human body. He demonstrated wireless control of a small boat in 1898. Spectators accused him of magic because no wires connected his hands to the machine. Inside large coils, he generated high-voltage electricity that arced through the air. The device would later bear his name, Madison Square Garden. At that location, crowds watched the craft move across water, guided only by signals traveling through space. The idea of remote control entered reality. His mind kept pushing toward a greater goal: communication without wires across oceans and continents. Then disaster struck. In 1895, a fire consumed his laboratory. Flames devoured notes, prototypes, equipment, and years of research. When the ashes cooled, much of his work no longer existed anywhere on Earth. He started again. At the same time, another inventor pursued wireless transmission in Europe, Guglielmo Marconi. Marconi attempted to patent radio communication in the United States, but faced rejection because Tesla's earlier work already covered the principles. The conflict seemed settled. Then in 1901, Marconi sent a signal across the Atlantic Ocean using 17 of Tesla's patents. Investors rushed to support him. For years later, the patent office reversed its decision and granted Marconi ownership of radio technology. No explanation followed. Tesla reacted with fury and filed a lawsuit. The legal battle stretched for years while his finances weakened. Recognition shifted away from him toward his rival. The war he had already won began to rewrite itself. The fall of light, the laboratory once filled with applause, now echoed with absence. Nikola Tesla kept working, yet something had shifted. The fire had taken more than machines. It had taken time, and time was the one resource he could never rebuild. He turned toward a larger dream: wireless power and communication for the entire planet, not signals for a few ships, not electricity for a few cities. A single system where information and energy moved freely through the air to anyone, anywhere. To build this vision, he raised a tower on Long Island, Warden Cliff. The structure rose tall above the shoreline, crowned with a massive dome. Beneath it lay tunnels and metal conductors reaching deep into the earth. He believed the planet itself could act as a conductor. Energy would enter the ground, travel across the globe, and emerge wherever receivers waited. People would send messages across oceans instantly. News would travel without cables. Voices would cross continents. He saw handheld receivers long before they existed. Investors listened at first. Then they hesitated. Another inventor already delivered wireless messages between points, and investors understood profit in that system. Tesla offered something larger, harder to measure, and harder to control. A network open to all threatened business models built on ownership. Funding stopped. Construction halted. In 1905, the project ended unfinished. Workers left. Equipment rusted. Debts gathered. Eventually, the property fell into foreclosure, and the tower stood silent against the sky before being dismantled for scrap. The future he described would still arrive, but without him. Meanwhile, the radio dispute continued. Courts delayed decisions year after year, while recognition flowed toward Marconi. In 1911, the highest scientific honor in physics went his rival. Tesla watched the world celebrate another man for work built on his foundations. He grew withdrawn. Habits intensified. Cleanliness rituals expanded. He avoided physical contact. Numbers guided daily routines. 3 became an obsession in meals, steps, and actions. Nights replaced days. He continued inventing, yet fewer listened. He proposed aircraft powered, without fuel lines. He spoke about energy beams capable of stopping armies before war began. Supporters struggled to separate brilliance from speculation. Investors refused risk. Money thinned. Friends faded. The city advanced around him while he stood apart from it. By 1933, he moved into the New Yorker hotel as a permanent resident. The management allowed him to stay while an old partner quietly covered expenses. Westinghouse Electric Corporation. The company hired him as consultant and ensured he always had a room, though income barely matched debt. His companions became pigeons in the nearby square. He fed them daily and nursed injured birds inside his room. One white pigeon meant more to him than most people. He claimed understanding passed between them without words. Years passed with little public notice. Then in January 1943, a maid entered room 3327. She found the inventor lying still, dressed neatly, alone. No wealth surrounded him. No grand laboratory remained. Only papers, unpaid bills, and a life reduced to memory. He was 86. The news traveled quietly at first. Obituaries appeared, then faded behind headlines of war. Yet officials soon realized the scale of his research. Government agents collected trunks of documents, fearing some ideas might hold military value. After his death, the radio lawsuit reached its end. The court ruled key radio patents belonged to Tesla's earlier work. The recognition arrived too late for him to hear it. So, why did the man who electrified civilization die without fortune? He made choices guided by principle rather than ownership. He released wealth to save a company that spread power across nations. He pursued open transmission instead of controlled supply. He chased possibility while others guarded revenue. His decisions built the modern electrical world and erased his personal fortune. Time moved forward, and history slowly corrected itself. At Niagara Falls, a statue now stands near the water, where his system first sent power across distance. Homes across the planet run on alternating current. Wireless communication fills the air. Remote control guides machines through space and sky. Decades later, an electric car company carried his name into public attention again, Tesla Incorporated. The name reminded millions of the engineer, whose ideas formed the backbone of modern technology. The storm at his birth once frightened a midwife. His mother answered with certainty. A child of light, he never stopped chasing that light. Even when the world misunderstood him, even when credit passed to others, even when wealth slipped through his hands. Electricity now flows through every city at night. Signals travel invisibly between people across oceans. Machines respond to commands sent through empty space. His presence lives inside each of those moments. The man in room 3327 died alone. His work never did.